What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the J Squared podcast. Jesse Kass here with you as we get ready for part 2 of our conversation with the hip-hop legend and icon, Chuck D. Quickly before we get there, want to let you know, please subscribe, rate, review the show wherever you're watching. If you're on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, be sure to follow along, subscribe. It's free to do, and we really appreciate it. And if you take a look in the description of any of those channels, you'll see all of our social media feeds as well, including Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Got a lot of videos that are gaining traction over there, so we appreciate for that. And if you could follow along there, that would be awesome as well. So we know you're here to listen to the legend once again, drop knowledge, Chuck D. So without further ado, here he is, Chuck D, part 2 on the J Squared podcast. Here we go. And Chuck, I know you said obviously there's more important leaders in the world than just, musicians and artists, but people do find inspiration from artists like yourselves and people who, speak the truth and put words out there. Is there anyone that you know or you listen to now that you feel like does a job of inspiring people, informing people like you and Public Enemy did back in the day? Is there anyone that you feel kind of fits that niche right now?
Oh, there's so plenty. There's plenty. I have Rap Station, which is a 10-station channel.
Yeah.
And you go to rapstation.com/app to get the app and all that. So I have a weekly radio show called And You Don't Stop, 13 years in a row, each and every week. So, I mean, I'm breaking artists. We're giving artists light. We're giving them advice on what to do with their art. And I play them. I play the role of John Cornelius and Dick Clark. And when I actually break in their records, then they could put on their social media and they're like, oh my God, yo, man, thank you, Chuck. And a lot of the artists also from different parts of the world. I've been to 116 countries. Wow. So hip hop is not a territorial thing with me. Like, okay, it's the United States. I think the arrogance that the United States of America has is that it treats everywhere else like everywhere else is less than. It don't mean nothing. Like we a pep rally or some football team. Right. I mean, no. The United States is part of the planet Earth. What happens anywhere else is going to eventually happen over here. We are all connected. Now, the United States of America as a government and as a doctrine and a constitution section off a piece of the world, and it fills it with ideology, constitutions, rules, and laws, but that ain't the world. It's a piece of the world. One of the worst things that could have been done is in the last, well, let's say in this century, is the de-emphasizing of the United Nations. Many of us New Yorkers has just seen that as a building. We walk by it, never been in it. And now the powers of the world have de-emphasized the power of the building. And the building's intention, especially after the Korean War, was to come and say, this will be a world forum that everybody would convene to balance out between the most powerful and the smallest countries that need help. Before, I think in the 60s and 70s, there were school trips going to the United Nations.
That's right.
The United Nations is not in no dialogue in this century whatsoever. Now they had a couple of appearances there, but it's basically benign. And they might as well turn the building into some lofts on the east side, on the East River, right? Across the river, they got the skyline, right? I'm serious. Brooklyn got a skyline now. It's right. Like, damn, like what? Long Island City got a skyline.
Long Island City, yeah.
But that United Nations symbolically carried so much weight because you can go to the United Nations, especially if you're a New Yorker, and visit the world, even if you didn't have a ticket to leave. Now you could visit the world in your phone. I mean, there's a lot of fun in the phone, but to know that you could use your phone as a tool as much as a toy, that's the difference between a kid and an adult. Like as a kid, kids got phones. Of course, it's going to be used as a toy. And when you start getting up in age, you still need your device, right? And now it's kind of like, how much of this thing, since everybody's connected with it, do we use as a tool? that just goes with everything. I mean, the high school kid that got a car is doing figure eights in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 50-year-old is going to Whole Foods to pick up, some family food at a high price. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so, I mean, same cars, right?
Right.
Pretty much. Different applications. So that's me as an artist. My job has always been to inspire. What the hell? Inspire people, because I'm a fan of people who are considered professionals on no matter what they're doing. I don't want to fix the pipes. I got a plumbing problem. I want to call a plumber, yo.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying I can't.
Right.
I'm not trying to be like,
Right.
yo, man, let me figure it. I like, yo, man, I want. What it means like I gotta figure out my job so I can pay the plumber.
Right.
It's good to say, oh, I could do it all, but you can't do it all.
Right.
You can't know it all.
Right.
People that think, oh man, these books are specifically books. It is one of my 5 libraries, but these are all books into what I do. These are music and art books. Wow. Very few of them are social registers and political science and stuff like that. I don't read those books in abundance. I read the necessary, but this is what I like to read. And this is the thing why we can't disrespect scholars. Scholars got to read every fucking thing. The good, bad, and the ugly. And then they got to process the good, the bad, and the ugly into something that they might figure out, like, what's the truth here?
Right.
I can't speak for y'all, but me, I read what I like to read. So when somebody says, oh man, you do a lot of reading, I say, yeah, I read what I like to read. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If I'm reading something I don't want to read, then that's a task. Yeah. But scholars, when we come off and disrespect scholars not only have to read 3 different things, the pro, the con, and the indifferent, but they better read it fast too. You ever run into a scholar, and just run, just like able to read, my youngest mother, child's mother, my ex is like, she could read like 10 books like in 2 days.
Right.
Guinness World, and I always loved her for that. And I said, well, but she can't teach me that. She can, you got to be able to have that, and that's a skill, but it's not really looked upon today as being a big deal. People reading texts and bites and stuff like that. So there is a reading audience out there, but people read what they like. They don't, and so we can't, it's not even a scholar thing. We can't disvalue, is that such a word or whatever, devalue professionals. You know what I'm saying? Professional. I went to college in 78 at the Delphi on Long Island. I was a phenom in the arts. I didn't want to be an architect, although I had a partial scholarship to go to New York Tech. I wanted to be a graphics person, commercial artist. I went to Delphi. I came in there with talent. By 1984, I left with a skill. So there's a big difference between talent and skill. And Jay, you know that. Jay, you know that when you've seen a lot of cats who are talented, but what's the manifestation of their talent is paying attention to the profession or the situation they're going in, and then you're coming out with a skill. And your skill is your mind, your body, and your soul all at work and working for you. And that's a big difference. And cats used to spit that as a slang. Yo, you got skills, you got skills. No, that person has talent. And hopefully there's an educational process that person could get that talent to work for them. And that's what is called a skill. And I had some of the best teachers and professors that ever. And the thing about it, it's like art is subjective. Everybody has art in them, but not everybody could get art out of them.
Right.
That's a big thing. You have to be taught that. And then it's like, art is everything down to the design, everything that we're on. We're on doing Zoom. It's been designed. If the art has to be specific, art is short for artificial, which means it's a facsimile of life. It's not life itself. But because it's a facsimile and a reflection, it can give, the area that it is reality. But you got to know the reality. The reality in life is like, food, shelter, and clothing, man. Really, seriously. Your body's a furnace, so you need food. I don't care food. You need food.
Right.
You need shelter because, like, depending on where you at, you need that. And clothing, you probably need that in most parts of the world. I never gave a damn about clothing, but I have to. And in the winter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shelter. I don't live on the island, not on those islands. So, if it was up to me, it'd be just me in a tree in the back, and I'm just walking around, but that ain't the deal. So those are the necessities, those are realities, and then all those other things come with it. And but like okay, we're part of these constructs. So can we actually get through these live these constructs, and then teach the easiest way to how others can live through the constructs, and not give these false things such a big glow to it, where it burdens people. It hurts people because, oh man, it hurts people because nobody knows what I'm doing. It hurts me, man. I feel like I'm disrespected. And somebody got to be alone and say, no, it ain't that deep, dog. Everybody got issues. People just think that you on the camera or whatever, or you got, a little fame to your name, that, oh man, you good. I mean, what? What? Oh yeah. I'm trying to people calling you, Jay, man, you don't know nothing about this, man, because I mean you up there, man. But I come from, it's like really?
Hey, Chuck, we all crazy, just not crazy at the same time. And that's for sure.
We all a little crazy ourselves, and you got to be crazy to swim in these waters and be able to keep your head over it.
That's right, and no doubt. I tell you, one of the things people always ask me, say, what made you want to become a basketball player? And one of the songs was Curtis, bro. You remember we playing? Well, I'm talking to Jesse now, right? I know you know. Hey, Jesse, it was a song.
I know. We're playing basketball. I know.
You all right? My man, keep it up, right?
And Curtis Blow,
we've been together 8 years.
Well, Curtis Blow, coincidentally, is the founder of the Hip Hop Alliance, and he's the one that swept me in. So Kurt also says hello too.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah.
And so I'm listening to that song and go, I want my name in a song one day. I want my name. And then this is a true story. I get traded from Phoenix to Philadelphia. And it's Charles Barkley, been playing in the league 5 or 6 years. He's good and everything else. But the only time that I've ever, when I look at somebody, you can put a song, like somebody comes in with their own theme music or whatever, Charles Barkley would roll up in his green 750 BMW. And then when we'd be on the road, he would see people and hang out with like Kenny Rogers. And I'd be like, wow, Kenny Rogers is big, right? I said, hey, Chuck, let me get in your car with you for a minute. I said, I want you to hear something. Because whenever I see Charles Barkley, who's one of the best human beings in the world, I see Chuck D saying, I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. See these car keys? You'll never get these. They belong to the 9-8 posse, And that wasn't a great rendition. But like Chuck heard that and was like, man, like your name in a song from Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? And then it went on to, honestly, he'll tell you, this story is the true story. I'm like, the hell with the gambler. You got to know when to hold him. We know you gamble, right? we know you got that. But Chuck D just gave you a card that you need to use in this community, And then Chuck, he'll listen and try to be different. And I'm talking about Charles, and he was getting on there and say things for shock value, like, I don't want to be a role model. But there is no better role model than Charles. Right. Instead of, for maybe back in Herschel Walker, but I got to throw that one in there. But as far as a good human being in that, but man, I see him to this day. He's called me last night when I congratulated him, and he was on the air, it was a commercial. I said, my brother, I'm so happy for all of y'all, especially you. And he says, man, brother, I love you and everything. And that's the way. I already know I got Chuck on tomorrow. I'm like, here we go. And then it just hit me. I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. When we were in the playground on the Lower East Side, that's all we talked about. If we dunked on somebody, I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. We repeated that phrase over and over and over, Chuck. That was just, just to have your name in there, was just, I couldn't understand. I came from St. John's University. It was a big step for me into the NBA, and to see how famous those guys really were. I was famous at St. John's, but it was different levels to this thing. And then when, Public Enemy puts his name in a song, and we walk into a club and they put that song on, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I finally made it. I just want to hang around right now and see what happens.
Wow. Well, like a little intel on this, Jay. We come from Roosevelt, Long Island, all of us, 1 square mile. So Dr. J is our hero from our town.
Right.
And let me say, Dr. J really set precedence for how I didn't want to get famous, if that's the word. But let me tell you, I had 2 role models that told me, I said, I know exactly, if I get fame, I know exactly how I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it deep in the back, and I'm going to be able to go to a CVS and not have no problem or whatever. First is Dr. J, our hero, town hero. I remember him coming. He was the head of the parade. Right. My mom brought him to the house. Here I got Dr. J with the nets, big afro, stooping in the house. I'm like, oh, and Doc was just real, man.
Right.
But I mean, all those players back then in the day, everything, it was like, yo, man, it wasn't the separation.
Right.
They walk down the street, drive the car down, and, like, hey, Doc,
Right.
Doc is the #1 player in the world. Come on. And so powerful that he gonna bring the ABA and the NBA together.
Yeah.
Jay and Jeff, is there today in today's speak, is there a monetary figure for something like that?
Right.
Yeah, no, if you take it up to 2022, that's billions and billions.
How much is that worth? How much is that worth?
Yeah,
how much is that worth? 100 billion?
That's the ultimate merger right there.
Oh,
that's for sure.
My goodness.
This man was powerful to bring the leagues together. I'm like, but I mean, one time, me and my boys, because Doc is our hero. He's on highlights every week. It's like, oh man, Warner Wolf. All right.
Go to the videotape.
Right, that's right. Here we Knicks fans, right? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Knicks, lost to the, the New Orleans Jazz and all, but in Philadelphia, Julius Erving, the Dr. J was like, what the fuck? We ain't even getting, we don't get Philly games, man. Warner Wolf was going down the turnpike and bringing those clips back, yo. So this is Doc, 77, 78, 76, 79, big Fro Doc, All-Star Game MVP Doc, right on the ABA Doc, yo. Me and my boys, like, we walking from the park, man. Doc, we had Church's Fried Chicken, man. Doc and Mr. Mosley, his old coach and principal, they up at Church's Fried, man, in the next seat. We like, stop, yo. Stop. So, you try to be cool and shit. Oh, I'll take, leg, thigh, mashed potatoes. Go there, you pop there, you 18 years old. Hey, Doc. Hey, how you young fellas doing? All right, yo, man. Energy like that, man. I can't even. You can't cut it.
No.
All I know is like what is this? How long is that? That's like 45 years ago, man. And I feel that energy.
Right.
Doc acknowledging us, man. That was solid right there. It's like, well, I want to be respected like that, but carry myself and just be regular people. That was important. The next thing, I grew up down the street from Eddie and Charlie Murphy.
Right.
So Eddie Murphy used to come to our turntable with Keith DJing and stop it and get on there and do impersonations on the mic. I'm rapping, but he grabbing the mic from me and He's got more props in the town than I got. He
Right.
grabbed the mic for me and getting on there, doing impersonations.
Right.
And so that's how much we know Murphy. I know Eddie, like coming to the crib, looking, to see if did my sister come home, and like I gotta be like, nah, she ain't there. My sister's in the back. Like I'm not trying to that type. That's how we know each other, right? Then Murphy goes and does Saturday Night Live, and we see him on TV, yo.
Right.
He says, yo, Murphy's on TV. And Murph brought out a box, man, and part of the skit, man.
Right.
If God made blacks and whites equal, he'd have gave y'all one of these. That was like, blown away. We was like, because we get ready to do a gig, get ready to do a party, DJ at a party, Hofstra, I think. And we saw Murph on TV and was like, on NBC, Saturday Night Live, what? And then Murphy, saw my mom in Roosevelt Field Mall and said, oh, that's nothing. He told my mom, I'm going to be on the big screen soon. And then my mom told me, I saw Eddie, he said he's going to be on the big, what's the big screen? Movies? How's that going to happen,
Right.
Then them 48 hours happened.
Ooh.
What? The whole area in Long Island was transformed. I mean, people that kind of was, not kind of his friend, always trying to be his friend. Like we were friendly, but you know how it is, Jay.
Right.
We not boys, but you cool. I'm cool. We know each other.
Right.
I'm trying to be a half-ass athlete, baby, and best with music. And you the funny dude, and and you come to the park in shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Try to play handball with the girl. It's all good. We all not trying to be the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, everybody try to be the same. I'm the thug. I'm gonna show my street cred. Back then, nah, I know we knew who the thug was.
That's right. That's right.
Is that dude right there. That's the cat. I'm not trying to be that cat, but he respect me for not trying to be him. We
That's
good.
right.
That's how the 70s and the 60s was. So I seen my whole town. I seen people flip, get phony. They pushed Eddie out of the region because there's no way he could stay there, man.
Right.
I mean, he tried to live in the neighborhood, but his star was so, man. I said, he's got to go. He's just got, climbing up on the second story of his house. I just want to say hi, Eddie.
Right.
We saw all that. We saw all that. I said, that was ding number 2. Now, I don't know what, I don't even know. I'm not trying to be famous, but if it ever come my way, I got the architectural blueprint.
Right.
This is how flavor comes into the equation.
Right.
This dude likes to be seen. He likes to be heard.
Yes.
Bro, you the upfront person, and I'm gonna be in the back.
Yeah.
Oh man, Flavor don't give you no time, and he always talking, running his mouth, trying to get the camera. Exactly.
Right.
You're like, that's perfect. That's just how I want it.
Job. Your job is to absorb all the be a whipping of mass distraction. The rest of us could get the thing done so we can enjoy this thing. And that really helped. Bring the community with me. Bring a posse, put a group together. Public Enemy is our whole community. We've seen the best in sports and the best and at the time in the 80s, the best in comedy in the film actor and the best basketball player. So right there, ball and entertainment, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it doesn't get better than that.
If we ain't learning nothing from that,
right,
then we a fool. So that helped a lot, Jayson. It helped so much to see them, to see the icon and then the superstar. And both of them are icons and superstars. And so we just came and did our music. And that was helpful, man.
Hey, I was just somebody Eddie Murphy, Chuck. He set me back about 5 years. So he made Coming to America, right? So I got a chance to meet him. They went to the St. John's game. They filming stuff. I get a chance to go to the premiere. They show me dunking on somebody, right? So, I go to Essex Movie Theater right there, right off Delancey. It was $7 a ticket. You know, I got about 200 tickets. Everybody come watch me do this, right? So I'm watching the movie. Little things have changed since the premiere. So I'm like, I don't remember that 3 weeks ago. All right, okay, all right. And then we get to a point where Eddie Murphy stands up and they throw the ball to Rick Smits, the big center for Maris, right? And I'm standing under there, and he turned around and dunked it on me.
Oh, you?
Right? Yeah, and Eddie Murphy stood up and says, "ND face, ND face," and I became the ND face man. So I'm going around fighting my friends in the neighborhood. So I be walking down the street, but 4 or 5 years later, somebody go, "ND face." I'm like, I'm a damn NBA All-Star, man. You know, ND face. You know, all of that. That's every time that movie come on, right? I was in Alabama, and the guy was making me a taco sandwich, and this was about 7 months ago. And he looking at it, and he go, "Didn't you pay in St. John?" You know, and he looking at the movie, and I was just one employee, and I'm like, "Oh God, please don't let my part come on." And here it go, and he go, "Was that you? Is you an indie face guy?" I'm like, 30 years later, I'm in Alabama, you know, on the road and getting a taco, and this guy gonna tell me, you know, you the indie face guy. But hey, man, at that point, you know what it was, Chuck, to get dunked on. Nobody wanted to get dunked on. Now I'm a little older. I'm just glad to be in that movie, you know?
Yeah, right, right.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right. Wow. That's right. That's right.
That's right. That was me. I was the indie face guy.
You're gonna have to go back and give that one a rewatch again, just to see the scene.
I'm wearing number 11.
Yeah, you know? It's cemented. It's cemented. You ain't got. Listen, we don't listen. Back in the day, Jeff, when there was a black movie and if Murphy was in it, you ain't got to rewind it. You done watched it 1 trillion times.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is Rolodex your mind. Go, oh yeah, that part right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't got to go back to. You ain't got to go to the tape or the
You're like, you already got it
in your head, man. You see it so many times. There was such a scarcity of black. This is where Spike Lee, you know, blows up. Spike blows up basically off the need of being able to put together something that we could. I mean, School Days was big, man. She's Gotta Have It was big as an independent step, and then by the time Do the Right Thing, man, it's like boom, you know. So we lined up for blacks in cinema, and it changed in the '90s where they realized that there was a market for it. But the '80s, man, you know, especially during the 12 years of R&B, and that's Reagan and Bush. Reagan and Bush, man, left the dead in the black community.
Yeah.
Yes. But we definitely didn't have no planes and boats to get all that stuff in there. That's for sure.
Nah, man. Yeah, and listen, man. Speak briefly about that. You know, and me and Will, and also John Sally gives a salute too, because I had him on Monday, start off his show. But we were talking about like New York metropolitan area, Long Island. It was once upon a time, and I bring this up to people. When the first time you saw, you know, a gun in our community, like for when it went alongside of the drug game, and the access of the guns and the drugs in the black community, hand in hand. It's like they took the weed off the street, and then they brought in the cocaine. And then in order to protect the cocaine and the money, then they poured the artillery in. So for the first time, a young cat would look like an old cat and be like, you ain't nobody because you ain't got this money. And if you come at me, you know, I'm gonna back it with something. And that it changed the whole game across the United States, and also fueled the drug game. And my first year touring, New York had its problem, and Northeast had its problem. But you would go to these small backwoods towns, some of them we call country towns, and it was just pure as back in the day. And then the next year you came in, it's like, damn, man, now they running the drug game here now too. And this is all, you know, I mean, from the East and the New York area, Miami, you know, and possibly the New Orleans ports in Texas, and also in the West, California. The drug game was infiltrated, and it was COINTELPRO on Black people. And in 12 years of Reagan and Bush was the years that this took. The minute that the national agenda said, this is your brain on drugs, and they got their anti-drug campaign to find out they're in cahoots to pour the drugs and the guns in our community. And we still got a hard time getting up out of that. And here we are 3 or 4 generations later.
Yeah.
Because we had so much of a momentum as a nationwide community. Also, we had connections that were irremovable. And Jay, you remember this, like Jet and Ebony, Soul Train, those are staples, man, that we could rely on to know that we were all on the same page, no matter how far apart we were. I think now with these devices, for better or worse, since everybody have it, I think to disconnect ourselves from the diaspora of where our people are at. And this is not the thing to separate Black people from anything, but we got to know that if we're going to be ostracized around the planet for being the darker people of the planet, and you look at a measurement based on how people look, which is a stupid, ridiculous, shallow concept anyway, that people are ostracized on the color of their skin and where they come from and who they are, to find out if you had to measure it with money, that if you had to connect the poorest places in the world, and it's more dark people living there, and the richest place in the world, and there's very few people of color and dark people, that you know there's a fundamental ism and a problem that still needs to be fixed and rectified and balanced out. It's not that, people of color and Black folks want any separation. The problem is coming as a rejection and keeping on knocking at the door. And when you knock at the door and say, accept us as human beings too, and you keep getting rejection, you're going to have all these isms permeate through generations over and over again. And the reason why education is always important is because we can't say, man, damn, didn't we do this before? They wasn't here. They might have been born in 2006. So you can't say, man, they didn't do it before.
Right.
So you gotta always have the education for the isms to get the stains out the pocket, man. And everybody is of use. I was talking, to Will Smith about Cool C. Mm-hmm. Beautiful brother, man. And they got caught up in social pressures that had to have them go out there and get money to be able to present their image in the hood. And the social pressures were on them because they didn't want to seem like, well, we did records and then we're not making no money, we fell off. So they got caught up in the game. They got caught up in a thing where a tragedy happened to a Black woman police officer, and those guys who started out as recording artists, this happened, Cool C, had something, boom, it went off in an accident. Well, you can say things were an accident, really. He had no, I mean, Cool C is like Will Smith. It's like, just, I don't want to say the word goofy kid, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, he's not that cat, right?
Right.
He's the cat. Cool C has been incarcerated with Steady B, and there's another member there, and he's been in the Pennsylvania penitentiary, the same way with Mumia Abu-Jamal initially when I went to visit him. And he's been on death row, man, ever since that time. What I don't like how hip hop will praise the thug gangster life as dragging people in and then throw them away when they're no longer used, but get people swept into that life.
Yeah.
But refuse to tell the real story of Cool C and how a tragedy that was all the way around to make him useful. Because right now, he could have been so useful to tell people, like, you don't want to even do this. Why are you even going there? Why are you pretending?
Right.
Yeah.
I got caught up in this situation. So the fact is they're trying to just like dismiss the story ever happened and dismiss his usefulness is, to me, the biggest tragedy in rap music and hip hop, because he could have been so preventive in people trying to go that way with his real story. They're trying to make him disappear, yo. They're trying to make that situation disappear. Mm-hmm. And that he can be, you know, I mean, he's here. He could be a teaching model and a teachable moment that happened. Because if you pretend it never happened, that tragedy can't teach nobody.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And Cool C is a forgotten person in hip hop. So what does that do for hip hop when we see that the last 5 years that people think that way of life, you know, it's been like 50 cases, 60 cases of murders per year, just from the life, unnecessary, right, with intent, you know what I'm saying? And like, yo, and so my thing is like, we have teachable moments and everybody could be a teacher and everybody, if they're here, could be useful. And when they're not considered to be teachers, then that just tells you how powerful COINTELPRO is. COINTELPRO is like, you can't teach, and we want, not only do we want these young energy to make not only the same mistakes, but even more mistakes, and we could just have more casualties and profit, and you'll never know who we are that actually really gets the bag off of that. That's what's taking place. That's what I call derogatory. And I've sent Mrs. Roney letters in the past, wanting to kind of visit. I'd be on a certain list. Cool C was on death row, and then, you know, Pennsylvania took him off. But my thing, that there's something there. There's something there that we have to be. We have to be humans, yo. We can't be inhumane in our action. None of this is our calling, man. You can't control the world. Things happen, man. But when you say that you could tuck something away and that person can never teach or never be brought into society, man, when that was just a flip of a situation, it is it's the reason we have the problems that we have today, and they won't get better the rest of this decade when we continue to obscure the fact that we can be helpful in any situation.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's obviously.
I'll show you the thing I keep with me, but you know, it's like this, you know, beautiful kid, man. He's like, Will. Matter of fact, Will told me, you know, he said, yeah, man, me and Cool C went to the same school. You know, they went to the same school. You know, he had to be part of the Hilltop guys, Hilltop Hustlers. People bought his music. I Gotta Have It, his videos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's somebody who can teach, man, because a lot of these cats, man, thought they could get in rap just to do that. And said, yo, bro, you get in rap to rap. You could rap the story, leave it to the stage and thing, but you got to detach, man. And over the last, over the last, what, 35 years, really 25 years, you know, like I told you, Pac was like a nephew, man. Pac was like a nephew, but we had to like pull his coattails a couple of times. Well, not me per se. It's that when we ran into each other, Pac would come to me, not look me in the eye, and I'm kind of like, dude, you a grown man, you know, but he treat me like Unc, and I'm like, yo, I don't understand the wilding. Ain't this what you asked for? Right. But where's he gonna get that conversation from? Because he got everybody around him, like, you know, kissing up to him, and you the man, and they part of the gravy train. So how much real conversation is he getting? I remember when Pac came with Digital Underground, another person, rest in peace. There's so many people that are gone. I think before 50, before 40. You know, Shock G brings them on tour, Digital Underground, their first records and all that. And Pac is carrying bags along with Tretch, who Latifah had brought out. And, you know, I'm on the road, you know, camp, you know, rap counselor, you know, and, you know, you want to see these cats come up and be and be the stars, and y'all got to take over the audience, and y'all got to be the ones, man, that we passing the baton. And the fact that, I mean, he had a brother, Shock G brought a brother that roomed with Pac that first year, and his name was Nzazi, older brother. I maybe slightly older even than us, but he was great counsel to Pac in the beginning. And then I would ask Pac, how's Nzazi? Well, he's doing his thing. When you start knowing that Pac started to build his own surrounding. And then, that's what happens. All of a sudden, your surroundings goes from counsel to yes men.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I'll end on this note. I won't get long-winded, but the enemy sees you coming. When somebody and something's green. You know what I'm saying? They're green when they walk in the room. They're green. That's how the enemy and the structure and powers that be see anybody coming in, and they see everybody on their rise. They see them filling their oats. They see them sowing their oats. They see them coming in, and they lay back like like the college freshman chick to the graduate dude that's sitting in the back with the beard, looking at him like this, while everybody jumping around, like sizing her up, like
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Upperclassmen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So true, Chuck.
Got a beard. Right. My first girlfriend in college, man. I'm her age and stuff. Like, she from the Bronx and whatnot. And I'm a freshman, man. I'm okay. I think I can hang in there. You know what I'm saying? I got a little game, but then again, I got little freshman game. Then all of a sudden, she worked in the library, and then I go to the library, check her out. Hey, what's up? But I also see, dude from Queens, smooth dude, big, 25, man. And he ain't say much, man, but I was overwhelmed, bro. I'm 18 years old.
There's like
He's
different
25.
levels.
Yeah, man. It's like, yo, man, I can't, I'm overwhelmed, man. It's like, I can't compete again. I'm bringing something to the table, but this dude, it ain't about what he looking like either. It's this shit in here.
Yeah.
I can't match. Right. I don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And then we had no references to either. But today, Kass could look at the phone and look at movies and adapt the character. I'm 18, man. It's 78, man. I'm like, I just ain't there yet, man.
Right.
I don't know what I don't have.
Richard Roundtree, we got to be shy. Billy D. Williams.
Yeah. I can't even grow hair on my face yet, man. And this dude got a perfect beard, man. And hey, baby. Yeah, it's just, dope, man. I'm like, well, damn, well, dude, maybe I could be his friend too.
Oh, Chuck, I love it. Man, yeah, Chuck, we got to wrap up, but it's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. Such amazing stories, and it's just, as we said, such an honor to have you on and have you and Jay kind of relive some of these times that you guys had back in the day.
Hey,
and Chuck,
Jay Jay is an angel.
Thank you, Chuck. And you the man, Chuck. And let me tell you, anything you got going on, let me know. I'm there.
Yes, sir. I first tried to get in touch with you through Oak.
Right.
And Oak is always a blessing, man.
Right.
I tell you this short story before I go.
Yeah.
My one day I had Charles Oakley as my boss. Back in the day, we used to make artists. I took a tour through Cleveland, took a tour national. But I said, listen, we just not gonna go to towns. We're gonna do work in towns and then do the concert later.
Right.
So we in Cleveland and 2 buses come in. I said, oh, listen, we're gonna be in Cleveland. Don't worry about it. Set it up. I'm gonna have the cats working your car wash for a day. Right. So we set it up. Like, people couldn't believe it, man. We got yo, man, this artist, Public Enemy, and they all at Oakley's car wash washing cars, yo. We did it for about 4 hours. And you know, anything Oak do is real. He's not like, you're not faking washing cars. You washing cars. So here I'm reaching under, and Cats is blown away, man. They coming in. Oh man, Chuck D is washing my car, man. I'm lifting up the floor mat. They got, you know, weed seeds and crusty McDonald's fries and Checkers wrapping and, you know, honey mustard, honey mustard drippings and stuff like that. So I'm doing it in Oak is, you know, all 6'9", 275 pounds of muscle. Say, no, Chuck, you got to get up under that thing. Those things, man. Could you imagine, Jayson?
Yes.
Each one of those people that rolled the car up in that day, man.
Yeah, man.
And they like, yo, I rolled the car up in the day, and Chuck D, Donald D, and so man was cleaning our car. This is what I try to tell these cats today. Where are your human relations? Where do you actually come off of that castle, that pedestal, that high bag salary, and get to the gristle where somebody could remember something for the ends of time, you know? And I'm fortunate that I have a stockpile of those things, man, where boom, me back in the day, I would pop up in somebody's crib and be like in their kitchen. Right. I can't believe I got Chuck D in my kitchen. It's Port, Louisiana, man, and my mom is making gumbo. But you don't eat pork, but she even changed her gumbo recipe, and we up in here. And yo, this is just that for real, yo. It's like it lasts a lifetime. Because I told you, for me, I'm in churches where I tell you about me and my boys seeing Doc and be like, lasts a lifetime, bro.
Lifetime. So
why can't we do the same? And there's people that run into you, Jace. And how many people have you brought smiles at? Seriously, you're a funny motherfucker too. So how many people have you brought smiles to their faces, right?
Thank you.
That's where our accounting is.
That's right.
Our accounting should be for the great things that we did. They outweigh the mishap. We all gonna make mishaps, man. It's like even when people get in relationships, this is my last note. When people get in relationships and they have to break up, right? I tell people, like, yeah, but how many good days did y'all have? So now y'all broke apart. So so if you was a baseball pitcher, you'd be 35-2.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, be a Cy Young winner.
Right. And Kass be looking at me like, damn, I didn't think of it this way. That's why your ass is talking to me, yo. I'm out. My brother, I love y'all, man. And
I love you, Chuck.
To call me on, man.
All right, I appreciate you. Thanks
Chuck.
for coming on, Chuck. You the man. I love you, bro.
You're the man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. My honor, my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah.